There we go. We are lucky.
Yes. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Psychic Call Show. I'm Aeson Knight, and tonight with us is, of course, Techy Joe, sitting in the co-pilot seat, and, of course, Pat Alva-Kraker with her new book, Catherine's Journey.
Hey, hello, everyone.
Hello. All right.
All right.
And there we go.
There we go. Well, almost.
They move the buttons around on you again.
Yes. There we go. So, tell us about your book and, your IT career that's now moved into coaching.
Yes. Well, the book, Catherine's Quest, just came out in September. And this book is specifically for women. And it is a parable with Pat's musings within the book. Mm-hmm. And so the story is Catherine lost her marriage, she lost her home, and she lost her business. And so she's without hope. Challenges that women have, some challenges of myself that can really come out in this book as well. And in the process of her moving out of her home, she goes upstairs and she finds a beautiful trunk and opens it and takes out this old leather-bound journal that belonged to her favorite uncle. And as she opens the journal, she starts reading how her Uncle Lyman, was on his journey to happiness. Mm-hmm. And his journey included going to 7 different islands that amplified specific values that would take you to elation. And so she begins her journey to elation.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So you said that it has some parables in there. Tell us a little bit about your journey, because you've had a lot go on.
Yes, definitely. So for career-wise, you're right. I have been in 2 male-dominated fields in engineering and in IT for 35 years. And during that time, I did come across several challenges, one of them being breast cancer. And I'm a breast cancer now of 25 years. I see myself as a thriver, if you will. And really dealt with the death of my husband. He died at a very early age. And at that time, John and I ran a 200-acre exotic animal ranch. So I found myself having total responsibility for that ranch with one person who was our ranch hand, who at the time was in a wheelchair. And life was good, and he could help me as long as the weather was dry. Mm-hmm. But if it rained or it got icy or if it snowed, he couldn't get the electrical wheelchair around. And so I would have to call in and take a vacation day in order to feed my animals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a very interesting, it was a lesson on how to manage priorities. Mm-hmm. And doing what really is most important. Mm-hmm. And the other challenge that I had throughout my year was being laid off. And I worked for IBM at the time, and I started my career during the 80s when you hired on to a company, you stayed with that company until you were ready to retire. That was the era that I was brought into. And so to be laid off was so heartbreaking because I thought I was going to spend all the rest of my time with this one company. And I thought there can't be a better company or a better life than the one that I had. And only to learn that there is life after being laid off. And I would say that the values and the stories and the practices that are in this book are all the ones that led me to pick myself in the bootstraps. And I learned how to better manage myself from a mind, body, and soul perspective that allowed me to respond to life versus react. Mm-hmm. And that made all the difference in being able to really get past them and live a life of resilience.
And it will cause you to. And now you're coaching specifically to females, but to female business owners. What are some of the challenges you see repeated over and over again?
Yes, I do. I coach women entrepreneurs who have businesses in the IT industry and also in project management, and specifically helping them scale their business. And what I find is that women tend to have three different challenges. One is lack of clarity. So when they want to grow their business or they want to start their business, they're not clear on what it is that they want a growth of a business to look like and feel like. And when you don't have that level of clarity, it's really hard to put a plan together and move forward in moving your business. The second would be courage. Is when you get the clarity now of what you want and you have a plan, now you have to take that first step and start moving forward and start working that plan. And many times they don't have the courage to do that. And so it's one of, encouraging them and really supporting them and helping them feel safe that, you're going to take a first step and things might not, things may be imperfectly imperfect, and that's okay. And in doing that, then you become more confident. And then the third is work-life balance. Is being able to find that balance or that harmony, if you will, so that in the times where your business is most demanding, that you make the appropriate decisions to support your business. And then there'll also come a time where your family becomes more important. And then you have to make adjustments to really put the energy and the love into your family based on what is right in front of you, and learning how to make that work for you without feeling guilty and without putting yourself at the bottom of the list.
If on the list, and that's a problem with entrepreneurs across the table. Yeah. What do you think of a lot of the marketing and things that we get thrown? Well, women and gaming get thrown at them about lean in and the ingenue commercial that continues to have damage on our lives even now.
Right.
And Devil Wears Prada. You've got to be not only in heels too high, but they've got to hurt your feet so that you can be in power. What do you think of those messages now?
At this point, and believe me, I lived a lot of those messages, wearing the suit with the white shirt and the pumps and the hair, and all of it. I was there. And in the process, and really a lot of us do all that, put that costume on or that uniform on to be able to fit in. And we find that many times that uniform of wearing high heels and those short skirts and whatever, it really doesn't resonate with who you are. And so you really stop being who you are. You start taking another persona just in order to be able to fit in. And it becomes very much a company culture that actually kind of puts you in that box. Right. And unless you have really the strength to say, this is who I am, I'm going to be who I am and be authentic in the business and in my career, regardless of what the culture is. It's a constant battle to be all of who you are in the business world.
And I think a constant challenge. What was some of your challenges with writing your book?
You know what? I'll tell you, the one lesson that I learned was that the book on its own has its own birth date, if you will. It knows when it wants to be born and brought out. And my challenge was that I was so much in a hurry to get the book out that I was basically pushing a string to get the book out. And it became very frustrating. And I'd write and then I'd get tired of it and I'd put it up and I'd say, I'm done. I'm not going to work on it anymore. And then I come back around and say, no, I've got to get this message out because it's going to make a big difference to women. And it was one of just letting go and going with the flow. And that was a big challenge for me, to just let go and go with the flow. But once I did, things really started to align. And the book I had been working on the book for 6 years. So I started the book in 2014. The way the book started and the way it was formatted and the whole title, everything changed throughout those 6 years. And now we have a beautiful story with Pat's musings in there, a totally different title. And so it's a matter of allowing, which was a big challenge for me at the beginning, and also to be disciplined. This is just to be disciplined about, writing the book every day for half an hour. Even if the only thing you got out was 2 sentences, you were just disciplined about doing that.
Yeah, and we just came out of November, which there's a national push every year from a group of people to write a novel in November.
Oh.
I don't know. I've tried it a few times. We've gotten a few more chapters into Jezebel, but we're not all the way through it. So what's one thing that you want the readers to take away? What are some of the key messages from your book?
One would be is the better you lead yourself. This book is really is about self-leading, how to lead yourself from a mind, body, and soul perspective. The happier you're going to be, the calmer you're going to be, and you will be in a position to respond to life versus react. So learn how to lead yourself and invest the time to do that. And secondly is embrace the journey that you're on. We're all going to have challenges, and they're there for a specific reason. They're there to grow, help us grow, evolve, teach us lessons. And when you fully embrace the journey, then you allow yourself to learn the lessons and to be purposeful about it. So one of the things that I do when I talk embrace the journey and learn your lessons is that there's a practice in there that's all about unraveling your day. And what you do when you unravel your day is before you go to bed, you just play your whole day back in your mind from the time you got up to the time you're ready to go to bed, and to be the observer of your life throughout your day. So you can see what went well, what didn't go well, what lessons did you learn, and what are you going to do differently? Because when you start doing that as a practice, you will grow significantly. You'll evolve at a much faster rate, and you won't repeat a lot of the lessons. And the third would be to live your life through intention. Is to really imagine the life that you want, and put the energy out of what it is that you want in your life. Be very clear about it. Really focus on how you want to feel when you set that intention, because you and I know vibration is very key. And being able to feel good, in order to be able to attract what you want into your life, and living your life through intention versus allowing people to set your path.
Right. Or take over your day if you've already, planned it out, which happens when you're, I don't care which seat you're in, an issue or whatever can take over your whole day. Now, we've talked about you being a coach, mainly for female entrepreneurs. What are some of the things that you think people just stepping out? Because, we're going to see come 2021 a lot of new entrepreneurs out there.
Yes.
What are some steps they should be doing now?
What they should be doing now, if you are really thinking about opening your business and your target is 2021, the thing that I would ask women is, what are you passionate about? Whatever you're passionate about, do that. Because if you get into a business just because it's a money maker, you're not going to be happy. Or you're going to be into this business because you want to travel, you're not going to be happy. So it's really important that when you think about the business that you're going to jump into, is that you really choose you're really passionate about, and be very clear as to why you want to get into business. The why is the most important, more important than the how and the what. So the clarity, yes.
Yeah. And, you've been, on the working side, you've ran a number of businesses. What have been some of your hard business lessons?
What hard business lessons um, is that it's very important to be clear, have that level of clarity every day of what it is you want to accomplish. Because without clarity, you can't really develop a plan and you can't move forward. Secondly, for women, is that you need to ask for help. You can't do it alone. Surround yourself with mentors, with coaches. Realize that at some point you are going to have to take some tasks off your plate because you can't do it all. And you have to be able to let go of the things that are not in your zone in order to be able to move your business forward. And the third is that you're going to make mistakes and make the mistakes fast. Having a business is all about experiments. You experiment with your market, you experiment on contact, you experiment about your products, you experiment on the services. It's all an experiment. And if you look at your business, that it's an experiment. And every time you try something, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. And you're going to adjust the plan. And it's okay because it's part of the process.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were talking about being clear about things. Do you find vision boards helpful or do you find them gimmicky? I kind of find coaches are on two sides of this table.
Okay. I'm a believer in vision boards. I've been doing vision boards for many, many years. And what I've learned about the vision boards is not only is it important to be able to visualize what it is you want, but it's just as important in creating the vision board is how do you want to feel? So being able to express the feeling of having an amazing business and what would that look like? Being able to demonstrate what it would taste like and feel like and smell like once you have your ideal life, and being able to demonstrate on your vision board those 5 senses on the board, as well as the what that you want. Very important.
Very. I'm with the vision board. Mine's over here, right here in my viewpoint, and we update it regularly.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, you have to. And I may do a video, guys, for our normal watchers about creating one. Tell us, because your book is a quick read. I think it's about an hour and a half if you can get that time. Was that intentional? Or was it just the size that it came out to?
It was intentional. I did want something that women could go through it quickly, because our attention span isn't what it used to, and many times people don't want to read if it's a larger book. And it is a wonderful story in there, but the essence of the book is really the questions that I ask you in the book. It's the time that I ask you to take a moment to reflect and go through the questions that will put you in a position where you're become a better, stronger leader, leading yourself in a more stronger way, and that you are actually touching mind, body, and soul. So I wanted the women to really spend time on the exercises and really start evolving through a story that was not a lengthy story, but that they could actually go through it fairly quickly.
And easily, while they're waiting to pick up a kid, or get one out of a bath, or that 30 minutes in the evening when you finally get to piece yourself out, and a lot of things, about the story. I love that it comes from that journal perspective.
Yes.
Of, going in, and it's more of a workbook than a novel. How is your thinking on that? How do you want them to execute that?
How would I like for them to execute that? So people learn in different ways. So some people learn visually, some people learn through writing, some people learn through audio, which this book will be on audio as well. And the questions that I ask them are simple questions, but they take time to actually think through them. And so what I wanted I wanted them to actually evolve through the book and through each chapter. So it starts with very basic, with very simple, very foundational questions, and then they get in a little deeper as the book goes along. And I wanted them to actually evolve as Catherine evolved,
Very
and
cool.
through the values. Yes, exactly.
That was one of the things I caught when I was reading it, because it's kind of the weird thing of when we have authors on is you try to, as best we can, at least read some of the book, if not all of the book. But I realized about halfway through, I think I screwed up. Because I was trying to read it in one straight line, just like I'm sitting down, I've blocked out time to read this book. I went and I got about halfway through and I went, I don't think that's what she meant. Like, I think and maybe I like, because I'm bad about skipping like the front pages of a book, like the introduction and yeah. I'm probably the perfect type of person that you want reading this book, in that sense of like, yeah, that's all crap, I don't need that, and then get to the main part of the book. And I feel like it hit me later. It's like, I wonder if there was a foreword that said, don't try to speed read this. Don't try to speed read this. Don't do the, you're going to sit down in one afternoon and you're going to read this book. Like this felt more like something that, like, okay, chapter a day. Just chapter a day. Just take 5 minutes, read a chapter, walk away, reflect,
Yes.
come back, read, walk away, come back. So is there a foreword? Did I miss that? I forgot to go back and look.
No, that's a good catch. That's a good catch. No, in the forward, I did not put that. But for second edition, that is an amazing idea.
Because I got halfway through and I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is how this works.
I think it'll be awesome, however, for audio.
Yeah.
Move it to audio. I think it'll be a great book for audio, especially for your targeted audience here. You know, because they're already busy. They're already busy. They're already trying to fit everything onto their plate. And, you know, my dad used to say, some people have a dessert plate, other people have a serving platter. You have to decide which one you're going to be and only fill it that much.
Ah, wise.
Yeah, because, you know, he done a lot of things. My mother, you know, he was a pastor, so she was a first lady, so she had all this stuff going on. It can get complicated.
Yes.
You know, and I'm just the sprout off of that tree. You know, we talk a lot about self-care, but why is it more important for females to be self-caring?
Yes, that's a good question. I appreciate you asking me that. You know, you and I were talking about how you would have the career, come home and cook the bacon,
yeah,
and be everything to everybody. And when you try to be everything to everybody, your cup is empty, and you're trying to serve others from an empty cup, which doesn't work. So self-care is saying it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to take time to feed your mind, body, and soul, because when you do that, you are a better boss, a better spouse, a better sister, a better friend, you know, a better whatever that role is, because your cup is full from having nurtured your mind, body, and soul. And sometimes we think that self-care has to be something elaborate. No, it can be buying yourself your favorite flowers. It can be taking a little longer in the shower. It can be picking up the phone and calling Joe and say, hey, Joe, you know what? I need to hear a joke. It's those little things that will make you laugh and smile are all little moments of self-care. So it doesn't have to be the go to the spa. It can be just the little things that you start doing for yourself that bring you an awareness as, yeah, I can do this. It's only 5 minutes. Yeah. And then you start growing from there. Very important. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people talk meditation for 30 minutes a day, you know, And it's like, who has time for that?
Yeah, you're right. The self-care really has to fit your style of living.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. And if it's not fun, you're not going to do it. So those are two things that are really important: is do self-care that fits your lifestyle, that's simple, and that's fun to do, and then you'll do it. Because if you don't do it, at some point, your body's going to come to you and say, knock, knock, guess what? You have breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Like it happened to me.
Have to be, now you have to be the center of attention.
Yeah. Or your body will come and tell you that it's time for you to take a rest, and that'll show up in a myriad of ways. So it's very important, stay on top of it.
Highly important. And it's highly important, speaking of breast cancer, it's highly important that you get checked. We just came out of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. If you forgot to go get checked, please go get checked. Not only women, but also men.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because it's turning up even more so now in men. Like, it used to be like 2%. Now it's up to 6%.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So, right now with 2020 the way that it is, the busy world of outside world and inside world, being in the office and being at home and being the super one of them all has kind of clashed together for a lot of people. What struggles are you seeing occur with that?
What I'm seeing in the fact that we're not at home, and you have to help your kids with school, and you're around your spouse more often, is that everything blends, and unless you put boundaries around what your day is going to look like, then you allow everything to become an interruption in your day. The kids can come in, your husband can come in and interrupt your day. And so it becomes very important not only to set boundaries for your business day, otherwise your day can just stretch to 12, 13 hours if you let it. And you have to make time to create an environment in your home that allows you to come into an office space that you really love. So many times I see, women that their desk becomes their bed. And so we don't want that. What is better, what is best supports you in your environment is to have that one space that's considered your office, that you have all the tools you need, you have something to drink, and you have your favorite tools. And that when you're in that space that's organized and supports you, that you're totally focused on doing your job, and your kids know that that's your space, your spouse knows that that's your space, and you honor that space when you're in that environment, versus letting it be in the dining table one day, the bed the next, or the ironing board the following.
So by the way, ironing boards don't make good desks. We've tried that one.
You tried that one independent of me. I would have told you that's a bad idea. But no. Well, on this current question segment, I was thinking of someone specifically, and maybe you were too when you asked. We actually know someone, and I'm not going to call them out, but who's in the situation. They're a single parent that is also going through this with a child that actually needs additional attention and is currently struggling with some issues with boundaries, authority, all of that. And I'm just wondering, because there's this perfect model scenario where we kind of keep putting people working from home and kids studying at home, and the family unit as being two parents who can tag team. Any advice out there for those that really are like newly thrust in or fairly newly thrust in to this whole, like, I'm doing the divorce, I'm in the middle of COVID, I have a kid who needs help, and I'm about to lose my job.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
So, first of all, breathe. And second of all, you are not alone. So the important thing is to start creating a community of support for yourself, because you are not alone in that situation. There's a lot of single parents that are now having to be at home and raise their kids and have special needs kids. And it's important to actually reach out and ask for help. If the financial resources are available, then I would look at which of the things that are really taking your time away can you offload to someone else. So maybe you're trying to work at home and take school, and you have a special needs kids, and you're trying to clean the house and cook. So from this list, what can you give to someone else? Who in your neighborhood can say, okay, we're all going to take turns and we're going to cook, and we're going to cook for 3 families, and therefore everyone gets a break from cooking. Or you decided you want to bring someone in to help you clean the house, and you offload that so that that time can go to your family and any special needs kids, so that you are allowing yourself to put the priority of your time where it belongs. So you can't do it all. You have to be able to step back and say, what is it? When am I going to ask for help, and who am I going to ask for help from? Mm-hmm. And then be able to let go of those tasks to someone that can give you a breather.
Mm-hmm. And it's important to take those breathers, even if it's just get in the car, lock the bathroom door. The worst thing they can do is tear the door down. And something I always want to throw out here, because I've worked from home for now 15 years, is it's okay if the husband cannot find the ketchup. They can sit there and find it eventually.
Amen to that.
I promise you.
It's a team effort, right? You have to have the discussion. Look at guys, this is a different environment. We're going to have to divide and conquer. We're going to have to help each other, and and go and just adjust to the environment. Like you say, it's in the refrigerator. Go look for it. Just move things around. You'll find it, and be able to really have a conversation with the family on how the new way of living has to turn into, and where everybody has to pitch in.
Right.
Well, and also recognizing no one's ever died of a lack of ketchup.
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure that list is 0. No one ever. Like I would actually put money up if you can send me someone died because they didn't have ketchup. Like I would send money for that.
Yeah.
But no, because I ran into that situation when I was in college. I had this is kind of a running joke with us, is because my mother ended up with early onset Alzheimer's and in a nursing home eventually. But I had this day in which my dad blew up my phone. While I'm supposed to be in class, he has my schedule. He knows where I'm supposed to be. Gets angry because I didn't answer. And I'm like, well, if I'd answered, that would have meant I wasn't where I was supposed to be, which I was. But all because he could not find the ketchup in the refrigerator 100 and some miles away from me that I hadn't stocked in a couple years. All for me to be able to go look in the door. And if it's still there, throw it out. Because it's now expired, Dad.
That's funny, Joe.
It's just...
Yeah, but those are things that happen constantly.
They do.
Especially with at-home and entrepreneurs. Like, we had to set rules for friends. Like, no, you don't come visiting at this time to this time because that's work time.
Yes. Yes.
Now it's like you don't come visiting unless I see a current COVID test within the past 24 hours.
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah.
Seriously. But this has been a very colliding world. And I think that what we're going to see out of 2020 is a lot more coaches needed to be brought in to say, this is how you do this. Mm-hmm. How you put in boundaries. Because this work from home thing, I think, is going to be contagious.
I agree with you. I think corporations are finding that there are some savings that in some cases employees put a little bit more time in In some cases are more productive. And it is worth really letting go of the brick and mortar and adopting work from home going forward. I know a lot of organizations have made that decision already.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot will be doing, including probably your former employer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, they were one of the first to pioneer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And I think the other harder part for being the entrepreneur, especially the female entrepreneur, is clocking out.
Yes. Yes. When you don't have those boundaries, like you said, it's easy to overstep those boundaries. So you can say, yeah, well, I work from 9 to 5. I ask a lot of women. That's one of the first questions that when I coach women is, tell me about your day and when do you call it a day? Well, I said that I would do 9 to 5, but I usually find myself, going back after I fix dinner. I go back to the office and I work 1 or 2 more hours. And so honoring those boundaries, I know is a challenge. And if you don't do it, it'll come back and haunt you. So it's really important to honor office hours and to have a life.
Yeah. And, that's part of what you do in your practice.
Yes.
Tell our listeners a little bit about your practice, because the book is great, but you in person is much better. I'm quite sure, and being hands-on with it.
Yeah, so I love coaching, and so there are different ways that women can work with me. They can work one-on-one with me on their specific goals that they have in scaling their business. Some women really love the group environment because there's like-minded women and there's a synergy of bringing in women and just the brainstorming that occurs. So I do have an offering where women can come and work in a group environment, and we meet weekly and we work on specific goals. And then I also have what we call VIP days, where it's a 6-hour intense immersion into your business. And it can be on strategy. It can be on a specific project. It can be a specific project that you want done. One of my certification is in project management. So women will, have a big vision project going into 2021, and they say, I just want to sit down and I want to map out the whole project plan. I want to identify where the risks are and how to work with my team in order to keep this project on track. And so they can come in and spend 6 hours with me, or they can come in and spend 2 sessions of 3 hours each, and we focus on one thing that they want to get done. So they can work with me in a variety of ways.
Yeah, and they can find that at say your website, honey. I'm sorry, I mess up that first word every time.
Well, it's majesticcoachinggroup.com.
Yeah.
Majesticcoachinggroup.com. Yes.
Yeah. He's having fun. My business is Mystic Computers. So he's having he's trying to, I could see it forming in its brain is, don't say mystic, don't say mystic, don't say mystic.
Yeah, because I'm used to saying mystic half the day, and it's like, no.
That's a cool name, by the way.
Thank you. We actually came up with that. That was random banter.
Really?
Wouldn't it be funny if...
Yeah.
And we went back and forth, and in the middle of this joke is but what would we call it? It's Mystic Computers. And it was that's just fun.
It is fun, and it's very unique, and it's memorable.
Right.
It's memorable.
Because not only are we doing computers and design and social media platforming and all this, but you've got a psychic that works as a project manager. It's oh no, we ain't planning that in 6 weeks. You can plan that in 8 weeks, and we're not using this. We'll minimize that risk here.
I love it.
Not a stock tip, but I don't see that company surviving long enough for this project. We haven't run into that yet, but I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of fun.
I would use that vendor.
Right. I love the fun, you guys, that you have so much fun, because you know what? If it's not, I tell my women, my clients, if it's not fun, don't do it.
Well, I always ask my clients, what do you want to do in 20 years? And if they don't, and if they say, oh, I plan to retire, I go, then are you killing yourself now? you've done told me you work these hours, you're doing
Mhm.
these things, you've cost yourself these relationships.
Yeah.
What do you plan to have in 20 years that's going to change that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Makes
So
us
what's
stop and think.
customer? What's your perfect client?
My ideal client is someone is a seasoned entrepreneur. They've been in the business and making six figures.
Mm-hmm.
They're a spiritual person. I'm a very spiritual person myself, and so I bring in, which you'll in a lot of my book has those spiritual practices in there. So they're spiritual. They like to invest in themselves. They know that in order to grow their business, they have to grow themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're willing to invest in themselves, do the work, and they have the funds to pay, to bring in a coach.
Right.
They have a variety of interests. They're married, they have kids that are now grown, and they're looking for community with other like-minded women.
Mm-hmm.
And they see the value of being surrounded and having a community of women that they can go to and ask for guidance and be supported and just be loved and cared for,
Mm-hmm.
and really bring in that energy. So they're givers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're givers to begin with, and they know how to lead themselves, and they know that they do have the answers, and they have a connection to source. Yeah,
which is highly important.
very.
And you're also a professional speaker.
Yes.
I saw one of your talks earlier on the site. Guys, go watch the talk. It's amazing. But are you also still doing speaking engagements, or have you grounded yourself until this is better?
No, actually, I'm heavily working it. They're in the U.S. There's 64,000 events a day, and we are short 1 million speakers, and we are short even more of female speakers. So I am actively working, getting speaking engagements. Most of them, are virtual, and some of the organizations that I've spoken at in the past and some that are coming up are actually going to be virtual going forward. So there was a point where I said, I don't want to do the travel because it can be exhausting. And now with COVID, it has opened so many doors that I can really take as many speaking engagements as I want, knowing that the majority of them are going to be virtual.
And that's amazing. That's a great way to pivot and switch it up. And guys, if you're looking to book events, go check her website out. She's a great presenter. You have 2 different talks you give. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes. One is talk about design. So design your life. And it's about, bringing in direction and living through intention and giving and being very clear on what you want and actually designing your life in a way that includes all these different elements that spell out the word design. And I do have another one that is specifically for morning routines. So I do bring one of my presentations is creating your ultimate morning routine. And the reason that is an important signature speech for me is the first hour of your morning is your most powerful morning of the day. Period. Wow. It's where you ground yourself, you get clarity on what you want to get done. It's where you work on mind, body, and soul. It's where you figure out what the 3 most important things are. And so that is a very critical, in one of my signature speeches, is because unless we start our morning in a very powerful, empowered, energetic way, we're going to be reacting to life versus responding to life. And so that's one of my signatures.
Yeah. And since you bring up morning routine, a lot of people preach this wake up at 5 or wake up at 4 if everybody gets up at 5. I am for one to wake up when you need to.
I agree with you.
I'm a night shifter, so I don't wake up till about 2:30 in the afternoon, and I don't get productive till about 3:30.
I agree with that. There are 2 philosophies really. It's if you want to get things done, you wake up 4 or 5 in the morning, get your first hour, your powerful hour, get that in, and then work your day. And that doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody is a morning person.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fit yourself into somebody else's formula. You have to be in alignment with who you are. And if your body rhythm gets you up at 2:30, well, that's where you start. If it gets you up at 9, that's where you start. Don't try to be something that everybody else tells you to be. You be who you are, and you respond to your body clock and understand where your high energy hour is, and then do your best work during that hour.
Right. And, and I think that's a message that gets really pushed on entrepreneurs way too many times. Is you got to be up at 5 or power up. And it's like, no, not really.
Well, and I think a lot of it also comes down to this kind of the difference between life coaching and self-help books is that like some of that may fall into the life coaching category and it may be part of that system, but the self-help book section is like, this is one person's idea and what worked for them. And like, you have to figure out how to customize that and take like things that work for you versus things that work for someone else that is not you, which for me, get up at 4 a.m. It's like, okay, or I could just jump off a bridge. That's like, if I have to plan my day around, I have to be up at 4 a.m. every single day. Like, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do by the end of the week. Because it's not going to work. But that is a large part of the life coaching concept, is actually finding what works for people individually and what they need to be their best self.
Their best self. So, you're absolutely.
And a lot of it is a difference of investment. You can read all the different books and, pull this piece and that piece, and it may take you 30 years or 3 sessions maybe, and you're there.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. That's the one benefit that with when you work with a coach is that you shorten your evolvement. You shorten how quickly you grow your business. You just you're learning from the lessons of the coach, and she's helping you really shorten that learning cycle. To get you going to where you should be and really honoring yourself and getting the answers from here.
Yeah. All right. Working the high pitch. I'm not sure. I think it's coming from
that may have been mine.
That may have been yours.
Yeah. I think that may have been mine. I think I had my volume up.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you, Pat, for joining us. And come back with your next book, my dear. And
I will.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, go check out Majestic Coaching Group, and you have a great day, darling.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we do want to say hello to everyone. For those who are new to when we have guests, we do actually kind of hold that until after the guest.
Yep.
So we have a lot of new faces. Also saw that. And a very special hello to Sarah, and congratulations. Many, many congratulations for your business management. Yay.
Yay.
Awesome.
All right.
Love it.
Let's play check the mic. Is it gone? Yes, it is Joe. All right, Joe, darling, would you please step out and come back?
As in, go away now?
Go and come back. There we go. He'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Let's catch up. Sorry for that. Sometimes, his computer sometimes is the mechanic car.
People are less screechy.
Oh, we are much less screechy.
Okay, I think I know part of the problem is I didn't get a chance to push the computer back before we went live. Usually, I don't know if anyone else caught it, but I was feeling like that computer is right in my face.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Things happen, dear. Sometimes you've got the mechanic car computer. Literally. Love you, darling.
No, my computer's great. I love my computer. I have the mechanic's desk, but One day, but hello, Brenda and Shannon, and Danielle.
Hello, Danielle.
Yay, and Mika. Okay, and Salavi. I hope I got your name right. I'm taking a best guess. But yes, hello and welcome. All great points. Oh, and you make a great one. And I think I caught that peripherally. Was they point out I'm a single parent. Online school is a lot more interruptions. My kids are in high school. It's been a transition. A heart on the doorknob can mean do not disturb, text for an emergency. I appreciate that. I have an appreciation for that. Like, I care, but not that much right now. Are you dead, dying, or injured?
Right.
No, go away.
And see, that's the way our house operates a lot of times. We don't come yelling through the house. I hate yelling through the house. It drives me insane. If you need me and I'm working, you message. You can come in and say hi as long as I'm not super busy, but don't be taking over my day.
But yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties there.
Yeah. We were talking about coaching and how like 3 to 5 sessions can really fit somebody. And it takes finding a coach that you can work with too. She's going to be great. She's a great coach. I've seen some of her stuff online. We watched some of her things. So if you're a female entrepreneur that's owned a couple businesses, that's seasoned, check out her site. Check out the things about her. I really like her. I like her personality. I want to hear more later when she comes back in. Okay, so hello.
First block comment of the evening. Yay!
Yay! So this isn't allowed here.
Yeah,
at all.
No. Sorry. Bye.
Bye-bye. You have been evicted from the coffee shop. We are now deleting your comment. Don't go back in and message my users later. We will not play that. We have already played this game a few times.
Oh, yeah. No, Brenda says her question was, does it involve blood, fire, or an ambulance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up with, is anyone dead, dying, or injured? No? Great.
Well, we grew up in a different generation, and I really didn't realize this until I started working with other people in office situations. We grew up in a time where you didn't call mom and dad at work. You better be dead and on the way to an ambulance if you did. And you don't just like message, incoherent stuff just to be funny to your mate. Like, okay. I think,
in what sense? Now, like, I'm that last one. I'm not sure. Like, sometimes I have dropped people's stuff in the middle of the day.
Well, I get that, and that's kind of cool now. But in our times, that meant a phone call or writing a letter.
Oh, yeah, no.
You never call, like my mom and dad worked opposite shifts. They talked to each other at 7 to 7:30 in the morning, and then again around maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock as they were switching out. They never done this, it's noon, let me text my husband on his lunch break. Back then, that was seen as controlling.
Well, I always remembered it as 9 to 9 and 9 to 9. Is from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It was okay to call people as long as they're not at work. But you had to get that done before 9 p.m. Like once they're home, and you try to avoid the dinner hour, which was apparently universally in my brain at 6 p.m. And you don't call anyone during that hour either.
Yeah.
And then from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., dead, dying, or injured. Like, that's it. Have you been in a car accident? Is there property damage?
Right.
What's going on that you think you needed to call?
Right.
That's how I always remembered it, was like anything, before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. Like, no, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Like, you better be in jail.
Not even then.
But no, I don't know. I'm just, that's where it sticks in my head. I have a big problem calling even businesses before 9 a.m. Like, I know they're open, but I also know, like, for myself that, like, Pat was talking about with that first hour of your day. I've also been and I tried to explain this to a previous boss. I've explained it to two bosses. One got it, totally there, on board, do what you got to do. The other boss didn't quite get this. It, like, we went round and round that. It's like, no, really, I need the first hour of my day, and I need dead, dying, and injured to apply to, can someone work?
Right.
Like, are you capable of working at all? Great, go do that. Like, for the first hour of the day, as long as this business is running, there is not an immediate urgent fire, physical or literal, or literal or figurative, leave me alone, because I'm setting up my day. I am checking voicemail, checking email, getting a plan out for the day, getting, stuff started. Like, there's stuff that I had to, like, kick off as a process and get running. And I'm taking stuff that, like, and then I was also a big component of the last hour of the day.
Right.
No, I need the last hour to shut this stuff down so I can get out of here with parts I can start tomorrow morning and be, like, have this continuity.
Right. And nowadays, and Brenda says that she's amazed about how much her best friend's daughter calls and texts her at work.
I used to hate those coworkers. I hated that. I'm like, like, lunch break maybe, but, like, I used to have one coworker that I swear to God, we knew everything in, like, the amount of hate she dumped at her husband. Let me tell you. And it was one of those train wreck situations. You just couldn't not listen. Like, she's going all off on, like, the bedroom situation, and, woo! I'm just sitting there going, okay.
Yeah.
Like, you tell me how to not look at that train wreck. You tell me how not to look at that train wreck.
Right. But you bring up a good point. The first hour of the day and the last hour of your day are the highly most productive ones. And here's why. The first hour of the day gives you time to figure out what you're doing, when you're doing it, and how it all pulls itself together. The last hour of the day is how you can review it, how you can move things around in your planner, and take time to journal so that you're not dreaming at 2 o'clock in the morning about the project that you've been working on for a month. You don't want that.
Well, and then in the actual work day, it's not like I stopped all work for the last hour. That's not what happened. That last hour, though, is when I'm trying to shut things down. Like, I'm letting processes try to end. And making notes on stuff that I need to start tomorrow. And that way you don't go home or, halfway, out of the door, you're not sitting there going, oh, crap, I forgot to reply to that client. That's what that does, is you start that last hour just, like, putting in little notes, little things that it's like, oh, I got to do this tomorrow. Oh, I got to take care of that. Right. Oh, this has to occur. And okay, what's my schedule for tomorrow? Am I in a meeting? What's going on? So that when you get there, and again, this works for me, it may not work for you, but my like, awake and vertical are two separate concepts for me. I'm vertical from the point that I get out of bed, shower, and drive to the office. I'm awake somewhere after that. Like, if I've got to be somewhere at 8 a.m. every single morning, that's what that's going to look like. Like, there's just no way around that. That's where I'm having to fit I can't set my own schedule.
Right.
So that's one of those things I like to point out to people, is that not all of us are like, yay, it's 4 a.m. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do all the stuff and I'm going to put breakfast on the table. And, you know, or as I like to call that, the Mrs. Hassel approach.
Right.
She was a very dear, sweet, wonderful professor I had in college, and I will forever love her. But I have to say, there was this one morning, and if you watch the show, you've heard the story, but there was one morning in which her 8 a.m. class and I get up at 5 a.m., drink a pot of coffee, cook breakfast for my kids and, you know, my husband, and do all this stuff. And then I come teach an 8 a.m. class. So I burst through the door, all energy. Like she was a giant, like, ball of energy at 8 a.m. And I'm sitting there this one morning and I'm just like, must you be so damn perky? Only to realize that this was not the thought in my head that it usually was. It was words coming out of my mouth audibly to her and others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So we do have a question for both of us. Yeah. The question for both of us is: when working, do you guys use a technique like the
Pomodoro
technique, or do you work a task no matter how slow or long until it's completed? For me, it depends on the project. Like, if it's a project I've been able to plan out, I try to break tasks down by the hour. But if it's a project that is like, oh crap, now I have to go do this because this didn't get done and this kind of failed, and now I have to go and pick up this data, I will just power through it and get it done. Mm-hmm. But studying or reading, like the books and stuff, I have to use the Pomodoro technique or I'll just get burnt out.
Yeah. And for those not familiar, that technique is a 30-minute system. It's 25 minutes of work, 5-minute break, 25, 5, 25, 5 process. I've used that. I typically have to use that with like material I'm struggling with.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sitting here and it's like, I need to do this. I'm not enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do this. I'm not enjoying it. And it's basically, for me, it becomes that, okay, well, now that I'm starting to make progress on it, it becomes less necessary. But I found it's a great technique to start something you don't want to do.
Right.
Whether you just don't like it, or you're not having fun with it, or it's dense. It's really good for if you have to read a lot of dense material. To have that, like, I only have to do this for 25 minutes and then I got a 5-minute break. Mm-hmm. I've done that.
And I really only got introduced to it to you when you were studying for your A+ exam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that was one of those weird times that wasn't a dense material, or I didn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. That was one of those. A lot of the material was kind of like, "Hi, this is IT for Dummies."
Right.
And I'm sitting here and I'm slogging through because I know there's going to be questions that are going to be very specific for mm-hmm. that exam. I want to make sure that I capture the material and that, you know, in case there is something new and exciting,
right,
that's happened in the last, you know, forever, that I am going to get specifically asked on a task. So again, that's another place where it's like, it's not dense, it's not hard, it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just that it's really easy to skim. Mm-hmm. And be like, I can blast through this, and it's like, no, you really don't want to do that.
Right.
Like, slow it down, take your time, do the work.
And that's one of those tests that I am still just amazed that they have Sluggo technology listed in.
Okay.
Nobody uses Sluggo anymore.
Okay.
I was like, come on, update it. Have some more marketing and mobile application questions in it.
Well, there is some of that. And I'm sorry, are you talking about SCSI?
Yeah, Sluggo.
Okay. Sorry, it took me a second to convert that in my own head. Yeah, there's a lot of older technology referenced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that is to have a good basis of understanding as well. And believe me, I get it. I'm sitting here going, I haven't seen a SCSI device in I don't know how long. It's like, really? We're still talking about SCSI. But okay.
2008.
And I'm sure that was one of those situations like, are you flipping kidding me?
Yes.
Well, I mean, in terms of its application, like where it was at, what it was doing, and you're just like, are you kidding me? It's 2008. Get with it.
Yeah.
But no, a lot of what you will run into, especially in IT, just as a side note, it would be wonderful if every company were absolutely 100% up to date, investing constantly in new and emerging technology, and just, no more than a couple of years behind, like, what's popular. Mm-hmm. Like, if you started a business today, the equipment you would buy and what you would do. It would be nice. And thankfully, I did have a professor that an instructor. And one of the first things she taught us or told us was, so here's the reality. A lot of companies they only apply technology in ways that will save them money. And as long as it works, don't screw with it. Don't spend any more money on it. It does its job. Yeah, it's a little slow. Yeah, it's a little whatever. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. Your IT budget is not going to be built around you having the most wonderful job experience ever. Your IT budget is going to be built around what is the least amount of money we can spend to make this business run from a technology standpoint. Mm-hmm. And I went, oh, okay. And then it was one of those things that like flashed around. I went, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I walked into a company that was effectively primarily based around a database system that was first designed before I was born. Mm-hmm. That was still functional, operational, being used by not just this one company, but a whole bunch of companies that they didn't train anyone how to use. No, like this wasn't a database system anyone ever talked about. Mm-hmm. It was news to me. It existed. Mm-hmm. And the programming for it was something you had to just sit down and figure out. Mm-hmm. And it was like new hire for that specific IT job. That component of it was the biggest, like, chunk of your time was mm-hmm. having to figure this stupid programming language out so you could work on this system. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things, you'll see it in every company, is that technology is supported as long as it's got a direct benefit. Mm-hmm. But the minute you can't, or you end up with an IT department that cannot show that, benefit, you end up with a bunch of antiquated systems that will sit there forever. Right. That, as stupid as you may think an 8-inch floppy disk must be, I will assure you there is a manufacturing company somewhere with a System 32 or IBM System 32 server, mm-hmm. Mainframe system that has as its only source of media an 8-inch floppy. Somewhere, someone is still running those. Because I've actually seen one and I laughed then too. Mm-hmm. And went, oh, surely the world can't be this bad. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah. You would be horrified to know.
Mm-hmm. But, that's an important thing about entrepreneurs is investing in good technology when you first start. For ages, I used off-the-shelf computers, and kept killing them. Like when I first met you, my comment was, I buy a computer every year.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes it's also, what are you buying? It's specifically. If you're trying to run a business on a system that is like $300 to $500 from Walmart on a Black Friday clearance, I'm just going to tell you right now, that system has a 1-year shelf life and it will die. Because your business demands on that system and the fact that what it's going to go through are typically going to be a little much for it. It's going to hold you back. It's not going to be an efficient system. For you, it was finding a right size fit.
Right.
Which we happened to luck into.
Right.
It was less design than, okay, we found it.
Yeah. That. But, it's important. In business, you get something that works. Don't get something that, doesn't work. Don't keep working on murdering machines.
Right. Well, and that's a big thing is when you see that you are killing equipment, stop and realize what you're doing. If you're having to replace a printer a year, you're overusing it. That's too much. Like, you've so exceeded the duty cycle on that printer, it's ridiculous. If you're sitting there killing a computer a year, you're exceeding it.
Yeah.
Or you're failing to maintain it. One of the two. That comes up often. That's a weirdo thing that sometimes you actually have to be on site to see what someone's doing. I'll tell you right now, if you have a workshop, if your business is based in like a studio or a workshop, and you have like bits of metal, bits of wood, those kinds of materials, you will kill that computer if you don't buy the right computer. That you won't even really truly get 6 months worth of value out of that cheapo system.
Right.
So it's just going to be this constant replace. The other thing I would point out is cell phones. Never underestimate the value of a cell phone for a business, especially right now. That, again, look at what you're doing. It's a great resource for small businesses, especially businesses where you are physically traveling to site locations, regardless of what form that takes, even if it's like Uber and Lyft, etc. Make sure you're spending money on your business tools. Like, it's not just a flashy cell phone at that point. It's a business tool. Don't just buy a flashy cell phone because it's a flashy cell phone unless you really just want a flashy cell phone. But if you are using this as a primary business tool, spend that money. It will help.
Right. And it does, highly importantly.
Well, and that's been a big part of with the changeover to apps for the phone, for the networks.
It has.
Is the value of a phone now, in terms of what it lets you also do. Because you're less tethered to a desk with a decent phone that can handle the application.
Right.
Versus, you could do all this on computer, but then you're stuck at your computer all day long. So, yes, and it looks like we have another question.
Awesome.
All right, and this one's for you. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Let's go.
All right, 11492. Have I already met my twin flame or soulmate? And if so, did he die?
Going to be really direct with this. No, you haven't. You've met what I call associates, things that you like to be a soulmate. but I don't feel you've met your ultimate soulmate yet. Looking at the cards where you went ahead and pulled the past and where we're at now, it shows you being at a respite point here where you're kind of catching a breath. You've had to face some fears. You did meet one that I felt like was close, but no, not completely your soulmate. It was someone you had a past soul connection with. Right, moving ahead, when we look into your future, we see you setting out to do that. You're getting ready for that journey. So no, he's not dead. He's slow moving, but he's not dead.
Wow. Okay, so sloth, not dead.
Yeah. You're looking at probably another, with the Three of Wands hitting there, I'd say another 3 years before you actually meet your true soulmate.
All right. And a big hello to Kathy. I don't know if I missed her earlier or not. I feel like I did.
We probably missed a lot of people, honey, because again, we had authors on, and when we do authors, we just talk straight to the author.
Yes. Well, yeah. I tried to look back through. I tried to get everyone.
Yeah.
But I'm looking through, and I think that's the first thing Kathy said, so I didn't know you were here, so meh.
Yeah. All right. But no. Yeah.
Oh, I missed her. Okay, I'm horrible.
Yep. But no, soulmates and twin flames are used interchangeably in marketing. And a lot of times what people are really talking about is their life partner for this life. And we need a lot of shadows of them.
Well, and then you also kind of rock the theory that there's not just one.
Right.
Like, and maybe, and as well as the theory that, you know, sometimes it's, you really do have to kiss the frogs. Like, even if you can, you know, like, you could sit and wait for the frog, but realistically, you're going to get there a lot faster if you go through all the frogs.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we see that in older souls, because think about it. We all went through from kindergarten to high school, and there was always this group of students. It's the same group of students that go all the way through. And then there are some additions. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I know you. Oh, you're the new guy. Who are you? Type energy. And that's what we're doing down here, because, you know, I still rock the theory that this is just, you know, bonus education for our souls. We come back. Some of us decide, nope, not doing 6th grade. Nope, I'll wait till 7. You go ahead down there and enjoy it. So what, you're going to spend your whole life as a nun because your soulmates decided to chicken out?
Mm-hmm. And Abby says, thank you. That put my heart and mind at ease and makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And that was something also, like, Abby's question reminds me of a thing I saw a while back, which was that kind of idea, like, it's been put in a few different forms. The one I saw was this like Uber depression. Which was I think my, soulmate died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was what popped in my head. So if I made weird facial expressions, I'm sorry. Was, it's this very odd, like, thing that's popped up in the last few years is I think my soulmate died.
Right.
As like this, like, I'm just not getting what I want. I can't find the right person. And I can understand the struggle.
Right. And a lot of people get into this confusing position with it of, that their soulmate has, crossed over, or, they were looking for a knight on a black horse and they found a guy covered in tinfoil riding, a dog or a donkey. And it has to do with the original theory of soulmates or twin flames getting marketized as being only one. That's like saying you had one pair of shoes all the way through growing through high school. You didn't. Promise you didn't. Don't care how poor you were. And it drives me crazy because you will meet people that are soulmates, but they're not relationship soulmates. They're just part of your class. They're part of the people you're in a soul school with.
Soul besties.
Yeah, soul besties. Or you'll date this one person and they're so much a great soulmate. And then one day you just wake up and you don't care for them at all. And that has to do more so with you've outgrown that situation, that person. That doesn't mean they weren't your soulmate. It just means you're ready for the next one.
Well, and then there's a lot of people who end up in that relationship where there's technically nothing wrong, except there's really nothing right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I've seen people in that one that, like, they just coast through.
Right.
Like, there's nothing really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, checks all the boxes technically, but it's not all that great either. And sometimes it takes a really long time for people to get out of that.
Right. Or to get out of that mold.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get used to, I'll call them blue jean boyfriends. You get used to a certain style of boyfriend. You get used to a certain dress of a boyfriend. And you get used to dating that type of dude. And it's like, okay, this is what I pull every time. And it's like, no. You have to switch your mindset. You have to date someone that maybe doesn't fit what you're used to, but maybe what you want.
Yeah. I can certainly understand that too, as well. So Brenda says, soulmate to me is that special connection, male or female, not always a relationship, but you and that person just connect.
Right.
And that's true too. Is don't discard the soul bestie.
Right.
Which is kind of what we were talking about, is sometimes you do have those people that are like instant friends. Like, you just have to meet them. Like, they're instant friends. You feel like you've known them forever. They're on your wavelength. And, you know, don't discard those. Yeah. Like, that may not be a long-term relationship. And, you know, that in any direction, in terms of whatever. It just may be, yeah, this is your, like, season friend. Or your reason friend. And some of them will be like lifelong friends. You just, even if, you know, everything seems like it would work for a relationship, it just doesn't.
Right. All right. Oh, let's see. So, energy overviews for patrons will be out by hopefully midnight, 12:30 at the latest. And then it'll be live for the public tomorrow. Yes, they are behind, but they're going out. I filmed them all today. I'm going to also be filming some other videos. Of course, the Witching Everyday project failed because of poor planning. So I'm going to be using those video ideas that I had. You know, all those videos will be produced. They'll be going out one video a week. For you guys.
Well, awesome. I hate that the witching, like, how did that go? Like, let's like review that for a second, because you were really excited.
I was really excited. It's a great idea, but and I love the concept. And if she does it next year, you know, I'll have it all pre-planned. But I literally just started running out of time during the day, because an average 3-minute video that you guys see, minus the show, is about 30 minutes to an hour. And then I've got to do setup and takedown. And there's just been a lot of moving parts around here going on. You know, and I've determined I can do one project a day. It used to be 3 projects a day. No, I can get 1 project a day done.
Okay, so like score-wise, like how did that break down though? Was it like 3/4 of the month, half the month?
Oh, I think I've done like 8 of them. I really wanted to do all 30.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hadn't checked in with you on that one. Like, I knew you had taken a couple of days, and then you were like, I'm really behind. And you know, you tried to catch up there, and then I don't know, this month got crazy.
Well, it got crazy.
We're now in December. For anyone else who is just waking up to December like I feel like I am. Like,
Well,
what do you mean it's December?
Well, these are things that happen. Yes, it can be. Thank God. Let's get this over with. We got 4 more months. You know, I am bouncing for Ostara. But no, you know, my planner went from, okay, here's the ideas, and then it went to, well, but I got to go do this, and all this hot mess just happened, and all that hot mess just happened, and oh, it's going to snow, so I've got to get the windows plastered again, and oh, we got to get, and it's like,
sorry, I
have
to giggle at Shannon's comment. It was just so much like what you said earlier today. Is there was snow, I was not happy. It's like, yep, basically. Oh, yay. Well, yay, and the Mini-Mont got to play in the snow. Yay!
I love them at that age when they're able to enjoy the snow. When they get my age, it's like, oh, God, it's snowing. Now I have to make alternative plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And layers, Emily, layers for the snowball fight. Make sure you remember layers. It helps to deaden the blow.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, that one slightly icy snowball is going to leave a mark.
Mm-hmm. It does. And, you know, y'all guys have fun in it. I'm happy. I mean, you know, my personal preference, snow arrives Christmas Eve. It leaves the day after Christmas, and it's just fun. Yeah, it hurts. You know, RA's been fun today, the past couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yesterday hit you hardest. Right as everything was headed our way.
Yeah.
That was the one that was like, oh, what is wrong with me? Like, you spent most of yesterday like, what is wrong with me?
Right.
And then today it seems like everything got a lot better. Like, as in, I don't know if you recharged some or if you just had to let it process in. But it seemed like today really, like, you popped more.
Well,
like, okay, I'm good now.
Mm-hmm. It's the adjustment period. It's the influx of, oh yeah, I don't bend over now. We're not climbing ladders today. That's a big help.
Yes.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I luckily was the one. I'm the one that goes to the attic. I don't think anyone else has been up there in 10 years.
Sorry.
No.
Don't do ladders.
I know you don't.
I hate attic steps. That's like a ladder, but you broke it and then tried to glue it back together. That's what I think of attic steps. Is you took a perfectly good ladder that I already don't like, and then you broke it and glued it back together, and I'm supposed to feel okay with that. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, who came up with this? Like, and where do you get the really awesome one that, like, shoots down like it's the collapsible ladder? Like, I've seen this in movies. I will do an attic with that. Like, the one that just, like, shoots down and, like, it totally unfurls. I trust that more.
All right. So we got a question.
Oh, we do. So Madison, date of birth 12/15/2001. Can I just have a general reading? If not, does Maya, my friend, really care about me, or is she a fake? Love hearing you guys talk. You're wonderful. Oh, well, thank you so much,
Madison.
And no, general readings typically are like 45 minutes or more, and so we don't do those on show. But if you really do want one, you can always book an appointment.
Yep, and that's actually the only method I do general readings on. I do not do them by the minute, only the demand services. Those are private appointment only, and it's because it takes 45 minutes to get to what you really wanted to know, which is about your friend Maya. Let's see. No, I don't think she's fake. I think she's real. But she's the type of friend that once a relationship comes along and it's really heated, you may not hear from her for a while. And it's just because she's the type that goes and nests and then comes back and can figure out being a friend. She's very nurturing and very kind, which is good for you. You guys have a lot of fun together, and I feel like you two will do some traveling. But no, she's a very real friend that does very much care for you. If you would like to make an appointment, you can go to aesonknight.com and click the book appointment button.
Mm-hmm. And you can always see a status on network, I do believe.
Yes, I have my own divine status there also.
Yes.
Yes.
But, Shannon, I'm there with you. If something requires me on a ladder, it's not getting done. That's sort of where I'm at. I will do a 2-step ladder. And then I still need, a support group. Do not let me fall and die.
Right.
That's all I ask. I will get on the 2-step ladder, but anything above that, it's nope. If I had to escape a fire by ladder, I choose death.
I'll just throw you out the window. All right. Well, guys, we're at the wrap up.
We are. That was a quick hour and a half.
It was.
Oh, yeah, I totally understand, Shannon. My balance isn't so much my issue. My issue is my knee, and I don't trust it. And I'm afraid on a ladder especially, I don't have any way to, catch myself. Oh, there we go. And Brenda's with us as well. Oh, and your hair does look fabulous today.
Uh-huh.
It has.
It's growing. February 19th will be a year since I've been to the hairstylist. We will see what it does and how it does, because every time it grows out, it grows differently. I'm hoping that it grows out straight this time instead of the curls. We will take this last question.
Okay, so Abby 11492, do I have true gifts, or am I just nutty and tricked myself into thinking I do? Will I get my daughter back? Will my life get better soon? Am I going to make it through it all alive?
All right, we will shotgun this for you, honey. Yes, you do have true gifts that need sharpened, though. You have precognition, which is something you need to go and learn about. I do feel you get your daughter back and life improves, but I'm looking at more of the improvement coming from your own self that causes your life to improve. That's looking more into next February.
Okay. So this is more just clarifying and just my own curiosity as well. So you're talking about girl, get shit together.
Yeah.
Figure out what you're doing, make a plan, and start rocking it.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All
right. It's time to do your Vanna White impersonation.
Why do you always have to get it? There we go. So we want to thank our Patreon sponsors, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, and of course the Crystal Lotus Shop, located at 89 Old Main Plaza in St. Albans, West Virginia. If you're in the area, make sure you stop in and check them out. If you'd like to support the show, find out more about us, then make sure to check out PCSPnetwork.com.
Awesome. All right, guys, we will be back Friday night, of course. That is with Mountain Bears, for those just joining our channels. Mountain Bears is a little bit different of a topic show. It's GBUC Incorporated. Aeson's got some girls going on this week. Patreons, look for the magazine to be out the 5th. So yeah, a lot of interesting new things coming out. And of course, on the 19th, I am teaching a virtual tarot class online for anyone that would like to book it. You can find that on my events page. Y'all guys, go check out the book that we talked about tonight, Catherine's Quest. It's available on Amazon.
Yes.
Yes.
There we go. I went and grabbed it.
Yay. All right, y'all guys, have a great evening, and I'll see you later.
Good night.
Good night, all.